painting at Brigham Young University and the University of Utah, and has taken several workshops over the years to hone her specialization in pastel. Colleen's work has received recognition in local and national competitions, and she is a signature member of the Pastel Society of America and American Women Artists. Featured in the Pastel Journal and the Artist magazine, you can find out more about Colleen's work and workshops at ColleenHowe.com. In this video workshop, Colleen shows you how to make creative value and color choices that will lead you to successful completed paintings.
In the landscape, we usually have 4 different kinds of values. Okay, so the very beginning, we will have uprights, things like trees, that are very dark. They are the darkest thing in the landscape. And that is because they receive the least amount of light. Okay, so they will end up being the darkest thing. Now the next darkest thing are going to be like inclined planes, and that has to do with rooftops, and a lot of times, like where I paint, I have a lot of mountains, so that will be usually the mountain shapes. That will be the next dark. Now we kind of switch to the lighter forms in the landscape, and that would be the ground, okay? Now the next thing we're going to leave is the white of the paper, and that is the sky itself. And the reason that it is the lightest is because it is the source. It's where the light is coming from. So the light comes from the sky, it comes down, the ground is flat, so it's able to receive the next amount of light, and then the inclined planes receive a little less light, and then the uprights receive the least amount of light. I find this completely fascinating. I don't know why trees have to be the darkest, but they usually are. Sometimes things will happen to make them so that they're not the darkest, and I can think of things like, yellow fall trees, or maybe there's snow on the ground and that will change things. Bright sand. Things like that can change the way that that works, but basically you're still dealing with 4 values. The values just kind of get switched around in the way that they are arranged within the rectangle of the painting. Let's see what happens when we do something cool instead. So we'll try a cool version of a barn, which may give us, I don't know, we'll see what happens. It might feel a little more atmospheric or something. So, start out with this blue. Now we have the choice of, if we wanted this to feel like a connected barn, we can allow the extra light side to have a little more feeling of light to it. So I've got to make a decision about the roof. Maybe I'll wait just a minute. Maybe it'll be a different kind of blue. Maybe we'll see what will happen in this one if we do more of a monochromatic situation where everything is kind of related and atmospheric. So that would mean that I would kind of stay in the analogous realm of color. So even when I go to the greens, I'm looking for something that would be a little in the blue-green department. So I would find something like that for that tree. I think I'm probably maximizing what this paper can do. It's a pretty soft pastel. Yeah, I want to take a look and see if that relationship is about what I want. Yeah, I think that's okay. I want it to, just like the other shapes, I want it to also appear flat. And for the purposes of this particular painting, I'm going to leave them fairly flat everywhere. Now, one thing I've got to do is modify a little bit the shadows that are up in here. So I want them to appear slightly darker than the wall, but not as dark as they were. That was too much contrast for the kind of day that we're trying to suggest. Now, one more possibility that I have of doing something is to put a little bit of this kind of pink salmon color into the rooftops, because we know that it is facing the sky. So let's just see what happens if we do that. That is really making things look hot. So I am using a red violet. The other salmon colors were really picking up on all the yellow and the turquoise, and it was making it a little too hot. So I'll just kind of double check where my edges are. Make sure that they are meeting in all the places that I want them to meet. Sometimes I'll let the drawing show through. Sometimes I'll kind of just leave it.